Early in my life, my understanding of racism was mainly created by schooling and personal experiences. Schooling had taught me a fallacy. Teachers had triumphantly claimed that racism was a historical concept, merely a remnant of America's past, citing legislature as proof. My understanding of historical racism was largely limited to the black and white images of the Ku Klux Klan and the Little Rock Nine. My schooling, whether inadvertently or not, perpetuated racism by subscribing to the fallacious assumption that racism had been defeated. In school, we only covered overt racism. Attempts at eliminating racism have created the misconception that racism no longer exists in America. Racism has evolved from overt to covert, and covert racism harms non-whites just as much as overt racism. Have you experienced covert racism?
I guess the best personal example I have is from my shopping experience. Ever since I was old enough to go to the mall alone with my friends, since I was 12 or 13 or so, I guess I started noticing that people who worked at those places were following me around to see if I was stealing stuff, I presume. I'm not sure why else they would be following me unless, I don't know. I guess it was sort of a really sort of uncomfortable and sad thing to have to start to experience and go through, because it's I didn't have any bad intentions. I wanted to put my money into their businesses. I don't know whether or not the people who worked there knew that they were doing something bad or something that made me feel uncomfortable or something that was racist. But
so even little encounters on the train, sitting next to a person of another color, someone white, and then getting up and just moving to an entirely different seat. They're things like that where you don't say anything, but there was some reason behind it. Or a lot of my jobs, I worked customer service, so I always had to, of course, working in customer service, you deal with rudeness and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I feel a lot of it is racially driven, especially with microaggression.
Have you ever been the subject of stereotypes?
Yeah. One time I was stopped by the police in a car full of white people, and I felt a lot of attention was on me. They had a lot of problems with, they say my ID running through the system. I was the first person they checked, and I was the first person they questioned, so I felt a lot of it was racially driven, just the way I look in comparison to all the other people I was around.
yes, I specifically remember being at Christian camp the summer after 4th grade, and a group of my friends and I were meeting someone, and everybody went around and said their names. I was about to tell him my name, but then he was and who are you, LaQuisha? No, my name is Nadiri. Yeah, that was blatantly racist.
The movement for racial equality in America is not contingent on a non-white progress, but on a white desire for equality. Non-whites cannot force social gain, as they cannot change the personality of whites who hold the power of social influence. I have learned that whites have reconciled their desires of appearing racially equal and preserving existing racial dynamics. This reconciliation is achieved through legislature, which legally eliminates racism but fails to address covert racist tendencies that are ingrained in the heads of white Americans. This has forced racism to evolve from overt to covert, while creating the fallacy that we live in a post-racial society void of racism.